Hi guys, so today I'm gonna share with you all something that's very close to my heart because it's something that I've never really talked about, especially online and even to my close friends as well. It's actually something that I wasn't really proud of in a way. Other than all my friends, there was only one person that knew it, and it was like my secondary school best friend, and she was the only one who knew like what I was doing and why I wanted to do what I do, because then that was when I was only 14. So I've always been quite a fit person since I was young, and I was very active in sport. I played the piano as well, but I was more towards the sports type of person, not really towards like the performing arts, because I can't dance and I can't sing even though I can play the piano. And yeah, I mean, you know, if you are a pianist, then obviously sometimes some of them will be able to sing. That's why they are songwriters, right? But anyway, I had my first swim class when I was only 6 years old. When I was young, I had the luxury of staying in a condominium, so I had all the access to like the gyms, swimming pool. During the weekends, there will always be this instructor that will be teaching kids how to swim. So my dad signed me up for swim class with my sister, and that was when I was only 6 years old. And I've also played tennis since I was 11. So from 11 all the way till when I was 16, I was playing tennis. And then I also joined the touch rugby team in my polytechnic. So I played touch rugby for about 1 year. So I've always been quite skinny, quite small size since I was young, because you know of how active I was in sports. So when I hit puberty when I was 14, that was like in 2009, I realized I was gaining weight, and I had the pressure of remaining thin, because most of my friends, the friends around me, they were very skinny. And at that point, Victoria's Secret was also quite a big thing, especially with all the Victoria's Secret fashion shows, and a lot of us would love to, as in it was quite a big deal about it. And you know, everyone wanted their thigh gap, everyone wanted their figure, so there's a lot of like pressure of feeling like you need to be skinny, you need to have abs. And back then we didn't have Instagram yet, but Tumblr was very popular. So if you don't know what Tumblrarity was, then you probably haven't been on Tumblr long enough. And back then, Asina was already quite popular on Tumblr. There was always Asina whenever you scroll through your dashboard. So there was always Asina with her bikini, there was always Asina with her thigh gap, there was always Asina with her abs. So because of this pressure, the need to want to be skinny, I took slimming tea. I went to buy this particular brand that was promoted as a slimming tea that could help you to slim down in a few weeks, you know, the fats around your waist, around your hips. And it was from Japan. So you know, when a product that is highly marketed, you would think that it would work. Upon drinking this tea, I also starved myself from morning until night, because you know, when I was in secondary school back then, so there wasn't any like pressure from my parents to be eating for during recess and lunch. So I would only eat when I got home for dinner. Recess and lunch, I would only have this cup of iced tea that I would buy from our school cafe. And I don't know why back then, because the slimming tea was also iced lemon tea flavored, and iced lemon tea is known to be acidic, right? So I would always buy iced lemon tea from the school cafe, because my thinking was like, oh, you know, it's acidic, so it can help me to, I don't know, just maybe kill the fats in my stomach, that kind of thing. I don't know. That was 14-year-old me back then. So whenever my friends ate during recess, I would always just like sit around them and I would just stare at them eating. And if I really got very hungry, I would just either eat fruits or drink water. I didn't want any solid food going into my body. I would have such a bad gastric that even my teacher would alert my mom about it, but I would always just tell my mom that it's like, oh, it's just a small problem. And I think she got really suspicious, but she didn't really like question much, because I would always be like, oh no, I'm fine, because you know, during dinner time I'll be okay and I'll be eating a lot. So she wouldn't she didn't really think that I was actually starving myself, because I told her that like, oh, if I was really very hungry, I would bring biscuits to school, I would eat biscuits, I'll eat bread. So she didn't think that I was actually really starving myself. And because I wasn't getting any food at all from morning, you know, school hours that time was like 8 all the way to like 1, so you know, this whole period I wouldn't be having any solid foods at all. So obviously I was undercarved and I couldn't concentrate in class. I was having really low energy, and I always wanted to sleep in class. It was really bad, and I was also dropping a lot of hair, you know, because of how unhealthy I was. I was kind of like, because I was starving myself, I wasn't getting enough food, so obviously I was skinny. I would insert some like pictures. So obviously I had what I wanted. I had a thigh gap. I could fit into jeans, and you know how when your legs are skinny and then you will look good in jeans. Not trying to brag, but I could wear jeans, and I actually got praise for my thigh gap, and my friends would ask me how I do it. Is it because I didn't eat a lot? Is it because of tennis? Is it because of the sports I do? Is it because I was still swimming? Is it because of yoga? And I didn't want to tell them that, oh, I was actually starving myself. I was actually taking slimming tea. Because of all of these things that I was doing to my body, I actually lost my period for 4 months. I can't remember whether it was like 3 or 4 months, but I knew it was a very long period of time. And I actually didn't tell my mom, I didn't tell anyone that I didn't get my period. At that point, to me, it was just like, oh, I'm not getting my period. I didn't think I was actually causing so much damage to my body. That was in 2009. So in 2010 to 2011, I continued to eat less. I continued to go for tennis training, because in school it was my CCA. It was Mondays and Thursdays, so it was like twice a week. I managed to stay skinny, and obviously it wasn't the good kind of skinny, because like I mentioned earlier, that I was always feeling tired. I was always feeling so lethargic in class. I couldn't concentrate. I wasn't doing well in school except for maths, because I like maths, but when I was other subjects, I just couldn't understand. I was always using my phone because I had such a short attention span. At the end of 2011, I graduated from secondary school, and we are waiting for my O-level result. So during this like 3-month break, usually students will go and get a part-time job. So my first part-time job was at Others. It's an ice cream cafe. That was quite near my house, because I moved house, so I wasn't living in a condominium anymore, so I wasn't exercising a lot because I didn't have access to the swimming pool or the gym. I had really late nights because the shift, especially like Fridays and weekends, we closed at 1, so by the time we pack up and everything, it was like 1:30 to 2. So because of how late we ended, we were always really very tired, really very hungry, because we would get so busy all the way from 9 p.m. all the way to 1 a.m. and we were always like serving customers, so you know, we didn't even get a chance to eat. So we were very hungry, and we would always go for supper, and our supper would be always either McDonald's or noodles, chicken rice, or it's either we go to this like Malay restaurant. I mean, it's like a Malay store or a Indian store. It's at Siglap. If you're from Singapore, you would know. There are a lot of good food there. So and usually if one of our manager joins us, right, she would want to go to the coffee shop because she want to drink beer. So some of my colleagues will have beer, but I hate beer, so I don't drink beer. But that was how unhealthy I was. Like, I had late nights and I was eating at 2-3 a.m. and back then I really stopped the slimming tea and stuff, and because I was really skinny, so I was contented, so I stopped drinking the tea. I stopped starving myself. My mom and dad, they actually warned me not to have such late nights, because back then I was eating antibiotics, right, so my skin was really clear, and they warned me, and they were like, oh, you're still young, it's not good to have late nights because your skin will get worse. You need your beauty sleep. And when they tell you you need your beauty sleep, you really need your beauty sleep. And so I wasn't sleeping at like 10 a.m. I was sleeping at like 3-4 a.m. So my parents warned me, but I didn't listen, of course, because I didn't want to quit, and because I made such good friends there and we were always having so much fun at work. So I didn't want to quit, I didn't want to leave them behind, so I continued to stay on. I started gaining a bit of weight and my shorts were getting tighter, and yeah, it wasn't good. Oh my god, the camera battery is flashing. Okay, anyway, I started doing Insanity and I started to research more on eating clean. I quit only about 1.5 years later. I also started drinking. I started drinking apple cider. So around September or October, it was when I started my Instagram. I started to get back into clean eating, and I was really restrictive about it because I wanted results to show because of how much effort I was putting into Insanity. I was on a paleo diet. I lost weight and I got back my period. In December, I started on a no carb diet, so I was more restrictive. I started to binge eat. I started to gain weight again, and when I went to Bandung in Indonesia with my family for our vacation, I ate a lot. We were eating like non-stop. Everywhere we go, we were eating smoothies made with milk, that kind of thing. It was really very unhealthy. And at the start of 2014, I had another acne outbreak, and that was the worst acne outbreak I've ever had. Because of how I had to manage my Instagram, it was kind of like a motivation for me to eat healthy, to continue eating healthy. So I would have like oats for breakfast. I would have like salmon for like lunch and dinner, because salmon has omega and it promotes like better skin and stuff. So my mom always recommended me to eat more salmon, to be like pescatarian instead of like having too much meat. So in April 2014, I got more serious with Instagram. I started to post more. It helped me to remain healthy, to eat well, and I remained on a paleo diet because it worked for me because of how restrictive I was and how much I was working out. I was working out 6 days a week. And then because of Instagram, I was also exposed to like superfoods, quinoa, couscous, and peanut butter. So it was like high fat diet. And I also started interning at this like yoga place, which kept me really busy. So everyone was they were quite healthy there also. So it's like I did lose a bit of weight. So you know, my weight was always like yo-yoing. So around August or September, however, I gained a lot of weight because of the high fat and high protein diet that I was having, and that was when I couldn't fit into jeans anymore. My legs started to get a bit bigger. I lost my thigh gap. My jeans were getting so tight. I hated wearing jeans. I got really chubby as well, and I mean, I'm still quite chubby, but I really got very chubby because back then I was like super skinny. So you could really like see my jawline. My internship area was like really far from where I stayed. I always get up at 5 a.m. Yeah, to work out, to shower, to walk my dog. Then I would pack my lunch. Energy levels then was like really dropping, really low. I could concentrate during internship, but I was like just really very tired, especially when I got home. I was just like mentally drained. I would always just like crash on my sofa and I wouldn't want to do anything else. So it was when this year, so you can see that the quality totally dropped because my camera died on me, and the pain of not having a spare battery. So I wouldn't say I was always eating like really clean all the time, because sometimes I would get so tired when I come home, right? And I wouldn't have time to cook my lunch. So sometimes I would just like follow the rest of the team to the hawker center near our office to have lunch. Back then I wasn't vegan yet, so I was having like chicken, I was having like and I was having quite a lot of eggs as well. Like I was always having like 2 hard-boiled eggs because I needed the protein. You can tell from the pictures that I was going through a lot of like weight gain, and then I would like lose weight and then I would gain it back again. So it was like a really long process, but I was definitely much healthier than I was back when I was only like 14. 4 years down the road, I was actually already doing a lot of damage to my body. And it was really hard because I was someone who was so skinny, and you know, having a thigh gap, being able to fit into jeans, being able to see like jawlines, being able to see like cheekbones, and then I had like really skinny arms as well. And when I changed drastically, obviously I received a lot of like a lot of negative comments, especially from my grandmother. She'll be like, oh my god, you gained so much weight, oh my god, you're so fat, oh my god, your thighs are so big. I would say that I would have already recovered from my eating disorder, but I wasn't exactly like finding the right diet for myself, because I was on a paleo diet, and I was eating minimal carbs. I would hate eating like white rice, even brown rice I would hate. So I would always like eat sweet potatoes, and sometimes I would have pasta. um Other than that, I would always focus on like chicken breast or like salmon and hard-boiled egg. So I was going through like that yo-yo phase again. And only in March 2015 was when I started to transition slowly into veganism. I was unfortunately still having a lot of salmon and eggs, but I stopped eating meat because I kind of got sick of it. Like, it was too much for me, I guess. And also because I watched Earthlings, and then I was just like, okay, no meat for me anymore. But I was still having salmon and eggs. And also in March 2015, because I was already completely done with polytechnic, so I needed to get a part-time job until I officially graduated in May. So I started working at Nike part-time, and I was slowly cutting out salmon. So when I joined them in March, mid-March, I was already vegetarian. Because when I watched Earthlings, right, it was because of Asina as well, Asina and Freely, that I watched Earthlings. So I was researching a bit on high carb, low fat. So that was when I started to introduce brown rice into my diet. Yeah, I started to eat more whole foods, started to eat more sweet potatoes, I started to eat more rice, started to eat more vegetables. But I was still having eggs because it took me a while to give eggs up. Actually, I took 3 weeks to give eggs up. After I cut meat and salmon off, I realized I began to notice that my acne scars and my acne like bumps were starting to clear up. My face wasn't as red as it was anymore. I guess I would talk a little bit more about my like weight gain and my skin condition on a high carb low fat vegan diet, whether I was going through a detox phase or not, on another video, because it's about my eating disorder, right? So to sum it all, I guess I finally found a lifestyle that works for me, and I'm quite happy because I no longer restrict myself, because I came from a long history of calorie restriction, came from a long history of starving myself, of wanting to have that perfect body. Is definitely improving, even though my skin isn't as clear it used to be. And now I'm starting to like appreciate myself and my body even more. Like, even though I don't have that perfect body, but no one's perfect, because everything that you see online may not be real, especially those like photo shoots and stuff. Like, they can be like heavily photoshopped, and not everyone has a target. And honestly, a target is not important at all. So I don't know why when I was 14 I was so like focused on that. But I'm very happy that I actually found veganism, and I can't imagine actually going back to eating animal products. You wouldn't see the damage now, but you see it in time to come. Like, right now I'm 20, and I started like starving myself when I was 14. So 6 years down the road, I definitely see a lot of changes in myself, in my body, in my appearance and everything. And I wouldn't say that I hated myself back then. I guess because of this whole experience and this whole journey, it taught me a lot. It brought me to who I am today. And if I haven't had my eating disorder, I wouldn't have found veganism. I wouldn't have been on Instagram. I wouldn't did a lot of things that I wouldn't be doing now, or that I would be doing now. Remember that every experience, everything you go through in life will always be a great experience and a great learning journey for you. And it's always through these learning journeys in your life that will bring you to who you are today. It will groom you into a better person. It will let you realize what are your goals and motives in life. And right now I am very passionate about spreading the word on veganism, spreading um the message of a healthy lifestyle, because I know what it feels like to come from an eating disorder, from having a very bad eating habit, a bad relationship with food. And I just want to show others out there that if I can do it, if I can cure my eating disorder with food, that anyone else can do it too. So if you are young and you are actually going through what I had been going through when I was at that age, I would suggest you to listen to your parents because they're always right. So yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video, and thanks for watching. Bye. I was just